Hello, my name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology. And today I'd like to discuss Neptune. Neptune's difficult. It's virtually everything. And Pluto being the spark that sends everything into separateness and creative endeavors. Neptune. Well, anytime you get a transit from the outer planets, and the United States is having a Neptune transit and a Pluto transit, Neptune opposition Neptune, Pluto conjuncting Pluto, and getting ready to have a Uranus return. These outer planets bring incredible disruption, destruction, loss. Neptune rules loss. It is the ocean, it is the tides. And where you have Neptune, and if you have Neptune strongly in your chart, you're going to have to endure tides of, for instance, energy. Neptune, for instance, is transiting my husband's Mars right now, and he just goes to sleep. He just sits down and he will just go to sleep. He's lost all energy, and he thinks it's part of old age, which is true. But I've told him, so what you have to do when you have a Neptune transit is you have to do Neptunian things. And he is doing a Neptunian thing. He's sleeping a lot. But it also means that you get to watch videos. You need to dance, learn poetry, and hang out. Hanging out is something I never really learned to do, but I'm doing it now since I'm having a Neptune opposition. Neptune comes around and it dissolves what Saturn has built. Now that includes structures. Tides will wash away anything in its path. Habit. And the structure that you have for getting through your life. Today is Wednesday, so here's what we have to do on Wednesday. I remember my mother would wash on Monday, iron on Tuesday, etc. And so Neptune comes by and disrupts all that. It brings a tremendous amount of confusion and defeat, loss, mistakes, delusions. And considering that the United States is having a Neptune opposition right now, we can see the delusions quite clearly. Robert Hand says that a Neptune, opposite Neptune, will bring a reality into clearer focus. And I think that in the United States we're having that. We're having that reality come into stronger focus. Some people who are woke and look at our history and go, are being opposed by the people who say, no, it didn't happen. So that kind of blindness and turning your back is also Neptune. Neptune rules the 12th house. And in the 12th house are you'll find planets that are indicative of people who hate you, who do not have your best interest at heart, and any of your own energies that do not have your best interest at heart are in the 12th house. So Neptune rules drugs, poison, incarceration in hospitals or in prison, dreams. The people with a good Neptune can dream true. And I think I have a pretty good Neptune. It's in good aspect to my sun and my moon. So I've always paid attention to my dreams. And when I was writing the book on Yeats, I did not start that book on the journey of the soul until about 2001, 2002. But all during the 1980s I had these strange dreams that I never could pin down until I started reading Yeats. And these dreams told me the truth, especially about the third quarter kings that I had so much trouble becoming clear about. those dreams, I dreamt about kings a lot, and those dreams were incredibly helpful because they put me on the right path. So dreams get discounted in this culture a lot. But if anybody has a dream, I want to know it. Because I can look at your horoscope and say, oh, here, this dream is telling you about this issue. And I kept a dream journal for a long time. But now, and it could be because of my Neptune opposition, I am not remembering my dreams. My sleep is incredibly disrupted. And so I don't even know if I have dreams. I probably do. I have dreams while I'm meditating. I'm not asleep, and yet something will flow through my mind, and I write that down because it's information. Neptune, if you have a good Neptune experience, and it gives you ESP, it makes you clairvoyant, it makes you psychic, and it puts you in touch with your right brain, which is where the subconscious resides, what happens in the right brain, the left brain, let me digress here a minute. The left brain is the solar mind, and what it knows is what it has learned this lifetime. That's it. That's all it knows. The instincts that you've been gathering and building up from all the past lifetimes are in the that information is in the lunar brain, the right brain, and to access that right brain, you just use your imagination. For instance, if you wanted to talk to God, I talk to the gods in my imagination, and I have a great time because they tell me stuff. The way I do it is I learn Gestalt, and so I sit in this seat and I put whatever, like Uranus over there, and I ask the question, and then I go over there and sit down. I don't have to do that anymore, but I still do have to turn around. I don't have to change my seat. Fortunately, I have a chair that goes around. And I'll answer that from my imagination. I just close my eyes and I be Uranus. And sometimes being Uranus can be an awful lot of fun because my Uranus tends to dress really weirdly and fun. And I would like to do that now, again, because Uranus is encouraging me to do that, except I never go anywhere. So I wear sweats and t-shirts. So anyway, that's how you access information. And that's Neptune. The moon, if you have a dream and you write down that dream, the key to the dream is your emotional reaction to it. Your emotional reaction to it. And I remember counseling a woman who was moderately suicidal because she had lost a grandson in a very tragic way. And she was incredibly depressed over it. And she had a dream, and she dreamed about her grandson, and as he came closer to her, she bolted and ran away in fear. And she told me that dream, and I said, well, it was your grandson telling you, don't come here, Grandma. You've got work yet to do. But her emotional reaction was that, no, you don't want to die. You have work to do yet. So, dreams are Neptune. They're trying to give you the truth. Your right brain generally wants to give you the truth. And it is in your emotional reaction to the world that will tell you the sum of your instincts and the sum of your senses are right there available in the in the right brain. You met someone and they're incredibly charismatic and you're just enchanted, just out of your mind, and you go home and you say, but there's something off. And if you analyze it with your right brain, visualize it, picture the person, and your emotions will tell you the truth about the person. And chances are good that you will see what was not obvious and maybe a warning. So Neptune's really important. So let's talk about how you get a transit of Neptune, and let's just use this as an example of a general horoscope. So these houses are angular. These are the angular houses, and they are, when you got planets in them, they're immediately powerful and noticeable. So you get Neptune moving into the angular planets, and you're going to have trouble with your relationships, with your self-image, with your obligations to the world, and maybe susceptible to accidents, freak accidents. Where'd that come from? Alienation from relatives, that's because of the fourth house. Marriage dissolves. You're standing, you lose your business, you lose your job. So wherever Neptune is, you expect loss. You expect change, but loss of whatever structure you've built up there. Okay, now these are the succeeded houses, and the 2nd, the 5th, the 8th, and the 11th. And Neptune transiting through there is going to be financial loss. You're trusting the wrong people with, like your money or something, robbery. False friends, false friends, disappointment in your children. Kids let you down. It could also be suicide, assassination. So that's the succeeded houses. Neptune moving through the cadent houses. That's the 12th, the 3rd, the 6th, and the 9th. And you can get strange illnesses, addiction, poisonings, hospitals, prisons, accidents, age impairment, weaknesses due to being old. And it also rules replacement parts like glasses, teeth, legs, whatever, brains, whatever. But Neptune does not want us to be rigid. Neptune really wants us to realize that we are not. Saturn separates. Saturn defines. This is this and that is that. Neptune comes along and says, oh no, you got it all wrong. You've got it all wrong. And Neptune rules your mythology. So I've got Neptune up here in the 9th house, just like the United States. And my self-mythology, mythology about who I am and what I can do, has taken a real hit while Neptune has been moving through my 3rd house. And with the United States, our mythology has taken a real hit. I, having Saturn right on the IC in Aries, yeah, I know it sucks, I've always had a feeling of anything goes wrong, I'm responsible and must fix it. And Neptune on the midheaven is much kinder to itself. It says, okay, I'm responsible for this structure or this action. I am responsible for this job. This is my career. But down here on the IC, I'm just responsible for everything. And Neptune has come around and said, well, you may feel responsible for it, but you obviously cannot do it. So take a break. Oh, I'm still working on the fact that I feel responsible, but the Neptune is saying there, It's not your responsibility. Take a break. Learn to hang out. I've never been able to hang out, but I am learning to hang out. Let's see what else I got. Okay, so Neptune in the 9th. Now that says it's not a good time for ego games. And it's a time to learn. It's a time to learn compassion. Now, the United States and I both have Neptune right here. Mine's at 23, and this one's at, this one is in the 23rd degree, and mine is in the 24th degree. Because it's in Virgo, and because it's in the 9th house, because it's in the 9th house, it has to do with religion. And so one of the things that I did in Virgo Rules Learning was I investigated religion, and now virtually have no religion because, I don't know, it's like watching sausage being made. Anyway, so the Neptune in Virgo, one of the things I learned a long time ago, I went to what would you call that? It was an experience called the Urban Plunge, and it was definitely eye-opening for me because I learned about my Neptune in Virgo. I learned that I would rather be kind to somebody I didn't know rather than be kind to somebody I did know but maybe didn't think so much about. They weren't that qualified or worthy. And the United States has got that big time. And I was watching a video on the other night on YouTube, and it was talking about Finland, and how Finland obviously does not have a Neptune in Virgo, because when it comes to the homeless, Finland says, if you're homeless, here's your home. The United States says, if you're homeless, and you've got to meet this other criteria, you've got to give up drugs, you've got to give up alcohol, you've got to clean up your act, you've got to get a job, I don't know, but then you can get a house. So that's I can be kind to you if you're worthy, but I'm judging you, I'm criticizing you. There are some of you that are not worthy to be helped by me. That's the United States and me. And I learned that and have tried to utilize that. Anyway, I won't go into the details, but to not judge people as unworthy. If I feel compassion, and I'll say, oh no, it's just, don't hand that $5 to that guy. And if I feel I should do it, I will do it. Because I'm trying to be guided by my lunar brain more. Because my right brain tends to make the wrong decision. It makes ego decisions. My Mercury is conjunct my Sun, and the closer you get to that Sun with your Mercury, the less independence it has, the less objectivity it has. And so my Mercury conjunct the Sun makes decisions on my ego happiness, and not what's right or even what will work. So you get that Neptune in the 3rd house, you know, it's hard to be clear. I mean, with Neptune there, you are either psychic or you're not working very well. You're just not functional. And you have to be aware that you're vulnerable to lies, misrepresentation. You can get involved in actions that are going to do you harm. You're listening to the wrong people. And another thing about Neptune up here, and you look over there, and you can look at lies and myths that you thought were true, but now you can look at it and say, that is not true. What it's demanding is that you recognize spiritual truth. And the spiritual truth is that we are one. And our country, so terribly, terribly divided, needs this truth. Needs this truth. But the myth that the United States has been working on for a long time is the good guy with the gun. The NRA, they already knew it, they just had to say it, the good guy with the gun. That's the United States myth. And the people who have awoke to the fact that this good guy with the gun is left dictators in every place it tried to implant democracy are kind of horrified by our track record. But the fact of the matter is, the only thing that makes the United States special is our Constitution. We have a hopeful objective. Hopeful objective. But the fact of the matter is that we have, when governments, countries, when men get power, and the object of that power is wealth, more wealth. The object of governments who are powerful is to, what the United States has done is simply economic thievery all over the world. Didn't exactly turn everybody into Romans like Rome did, or the English did in giving English citizenship to the people they screwed over. We didn't do that. We just went in and, with our capitalist ways, and robbed them blind and left them with dictators, because the dictators would allow us, our big business, to rob them blind. So, the United States had our Neptune return, or Neptune opposition, I'm sorry. The first one was on the 1st of May of 2021. And that was a moon phase 11. Let me point out an 11. Moon phase 11. That's the beginning of accessing one's own spiritual power. 11 endures virtually a rape that sends the subconscious down into the pit of the stomach, into the power chakra, into the Sagittarius chakra, where lives one's own spiritual power, and it is awakened there. It is discovered there in moon phase 11 by the lunar mind. What the solar mind has to do is to quit wandering around lost, thinking, I should be able to fix that, but I don't know what I'm doing, is to turn in and listen to the lunar mind, because the lunar mind will tell you the truth. Okay, that's an 11. The next pass with Neptune as it was going retrograde was on 21st of August 2021, a year ago, and that was a moon phase 13. Now what moon phase 12 has done, this is an initiation phase, and moon phase 12, the solar mind has turned inward and has joined the lunar mind in what is called a royal marriage, the marriage of the two planes. And what 13 is doing then is, it's a phase of I don't want to say loss, but it is a phase of I need to choose. I need to learn how to choose what is mine and what is not. I need to learn what is important for me and what doesn't fit with me. This is choices are very, very important with moon phase 13, and they give up an awful lot in order to focus simply on what is theirs, what is appropriate. And then the Neptune went direct again and crossed the 23rd degree of Pisces at the 1st of March in 2020. And that was a moon phase 27. That's a moon phase 27. It's a mask of 13. And this is, remember, this is the rectangle of loss. These 3 and 17, loss, the world just grabs their stuff from them. I mean, takes away their loves, their whatever. They endure loss that seems to be coming from the outside. 13 and 27 give up what is inappropriate. 27 is definitely a clearinghouse of this is mine and this is not, this is mine and this is not. And I remember I have a delightful friend who is a 27, and to walk into her house is to walk into spare perfection. There is no dust on the tables. Well, she is got a powerful Virgo. And there are no knickknacks. There are no papers laying around. That's one of the things that's happened to me since Neptune is opposing my Neptune, is that my house has become a total mess. I mean, there's a broken sewing machine in the bedroom, and a broken sewing machine in the living room. I made a lot of masks during the pandemic. And there's piles, but I'm not even going to show it to you. But I've got a Capricorn rising, and I'm not used to quite this much mess. But I'm getting used to it. I just look at it and say, why? My structure, my Saturn, has fallen down. Now, I've never had a really strong Saturn structure. I've got Mercury in Capricorn, which opposing the moon does not like disorder at all. And my life is now in disorder. And that Neptune will do that for you. But one of the things that I have learning is we have not had a bad fire season here where I live. It has actually rained all summer. Thank you. But one of the things that my husband and I and the whole community virtually is doing is getting ready to run should the fires come. And so going through all my stuff has been an education. I'd say 80% of this stuff is disposable. 20% of it I'm fond of. And of that, only 5% do I really need. So it's been an education. My house is in disorder a lot because I've been going through everything. And I pull out things that I think keep, sell, give away. So I'm in the midst of this, and that's probably some of the disorder that is bugging me right now. But a lot of it's just Neptune, and I can't seem to find the proper place for things, so they just float around the house. Okay, the thing about the USA Neptune is Neptune in the 9th is a serve or suffer issue. And ours is intercepted. So, I mean, we do have, the government does not serve or suffer. The government suffers. But we have charities, people who give and who serve. And we kind of rely on them. Like we used to rely on churches to give us decent hospitals and decent medical care. But big business has taken over the fairly benevolent care of churches and given us this industrial care that we now endure. Neptune in the 9th. Neptune rules your ideals. And in the 9th, it's where your myths reside. The myth, like my myth of I can fix anything. I can fix anything. Nope, nothing's going to get me down. I can fix anything. That myth has been challenged. The myth of the gunfighter. I mean, people are looking at the slaughterhouse that is now the United States and saying, oh, what can we do? Oh, what can we do? Well, one thing we have to do is to extract our government from the money tentacles of big business, and a lot of that big business is arms manufacturers who took over the NRA in 1977 and 86 poor Ollie North. And you'd have thought Ollie would be a gung-ho for all the guns that we've got now, but nope, he had to be ousted because he was not going to go along with the fact that every 16-year-old needs an AK-47. Is that what it is? I don't remember. I saw one once. Terrifying looking thing. Terrifying looking thing. Whoa. So, what our Neptune opposition is asking us to reunite. Asking us virtually to do something we've never done. We have never been united. We have never been united. We have always hated the immigrant, ninth house, foreigners. Hated the Germans, hated the Irish, hate the, I don't consider the Mexicans foreigners. The Mexicans were here before the white folks moved in. So, the Asian people, remember what we did to our Japanese citizens during World War II? One of the things that I hold against FDR, the president I loved. Of course, I fell in love with him when I was 5. So, actually 4 and 5. He used to read me the funnies. Anyway, the Virgo rules unions. And so, the return of the unions is happening as our Neptune transit opposes our natal Neptune. Return of the unions, because people have realized that we are, as individuals, we are powerless against the power of big business, who is hand in hand with our government. Notice that our government, this Saturn up here, rules this, is hand in hand with the money thing, that is that Pluto in our second house of our resources. So there's a money exchange here that goes on that we're going to have to get in control of, or we'll never get in control of our government. But that's why the unions are coming back, is because people have realized that if we don't get together, we're going to lose the whole thing. This Neptune is in the Taurus Dwad. Let's talk about Dwads a minute. Okay, this is a good way to do it. Dwads. Dwads will give you information. It's nuance to a degree. So, a Dwad, okay, supposing you had, like the United States has, Neptune at in the 23rd degree of, actually it's at, let me look closely, 22, Virgo 25. Okay, so let's figure that one out. Here's Virgo. The first 10 degrees in any sign are ruled by, like, if the first 10 degrees of Virgo are ruled by Virgo. The second 10 degrees, meaning from 10 to 20, are ruled by Capricorn. And the third 10 degrees from 20 to 30 are ruled by Taurus. So we've got a planet at 22, 25. And so the way you have to figure it is, okay, each Dwad takes up 2.5 degrees. Oh, that's too difficult, I know. So don't do it in 5 degrees. The third decadent of Virgo starts out Taurus, 2.5 degrees. Gemini, 2.5 degrees, that's 5 degrees. So Taurus, Gemini, 5 degrees. Cancer, Leo, another 5 degrees. And so that's the way you have to do it. You look and see. So we're going to look at the Taurus decadent, and the first 2.5 degrees in this the Taurus decadent of Virgo is Taurus. So I know it was long and involved, and I'm sorry if it wasn't clear, but it's not difficult if you'll just think in terms of every 2 signs is 5 degrees. Remember that every sign contains the whole zodiac, and that's what the dwads are, the whole zodiac. So let's look at our Virgo here. And this is in the Taurus dwad, in the Taurus decadent. So it means it's oriented toward money, and we're talking about equal people having. What we've done in the United States is we've got the most uneven distribution of wealth just about any place in the world. And it's contra to our Neptune in Virgo, which wants us to be more equal in wealth, that none are left out, that none drop through the cracks and end up hopeless and homeless. The fact that we judge people as unworthy to be housed because they drink, they do drugs. Well, let me tell you, if I lived on the street, I'd probably drink and do drugs too. I mean, you're talking hopelessness. And hopelessness is Neptune. And it promotes addiction, Neptune. So, to be this Virgo up here in the 9th is shattered. We don't have a unified religion. We have cults. And I'm watching the Catholic Church, whom I'm been expecting to collapse any minute. And our Catholic Church has told the Pope, you're not going to tell us what to do. We get to go our own way. Our Catholic Church in the United States gets to be a cult. And we've always had these people who came over to make utopian experiments, etc. That's the Neptune and Virgo. Our religions shatter and split over politics all the time. And so we don't really have religion in the United States. We have my religion versus your religion versus your religion versus your religion. We have cults. So, we also judge people as worthy or not worthy to be helped. Oh, I'm sorry, you're poor and black, but we're busy taking care of people who are not black. Yep. So, for the United States, this Neptune is our creative genius. Why? Because Neptune rules democracy. It means togetherness. It means we all have the same power if the vote. We all have the same ability to rise to president. This is not true of the United States. But let's hope that it can become true. As the Neptune transiting opposite this Neptune shows us who and what we are. And God willing, inspires us to become better, to come together. I really think we can do it. I really think they can do it. As Yeats, W.B. Yeats pointed out, there's nothing that pulls people apart like ideas and ideals. Reality brings people together. And so it's time that we faced our reality and came together to do what we needed to do, which is take care of each other. And the United States has obligations to take care of others too. Notice all of this over here in partnership. And this is Cancer. Cancer, giving. Jupiter, giving. Except that Venus, Jupiter there rules that Saturn, so it's hooked into our big business and our government. Rich people run our government. Rich people get to be senators. Rich people get to be president. If you're not rich people, yeah. Anyway, let's see. So, and one of the things that has come up, because Chiron is moving toward, and we're getting ready to have a Chiron return. Let me tell you, a Chiron return, I had my second Saturn return, and it was nothing compared to the Chiron return that had come a few years before. That Chiron return hurt. And we're getting ready to have a Chiron return. And I think we're going to have to face the war that brought us our homeland. The wars that we fought against our native people. The slavery, that's Neptune, having it's imprisonment. Slavery is imprisonment. And neglect. Slavery, we're going to have to deal with that all in our Chiron return. And reparations are already becoming headline news. So we've got work to do. We've got so much work to do. And I pray that we can get together and do it. And I pray that you're well and staying safe. The pandemic is still out there. Try your best not to get the monkeypox. And be kind to each other. Yeah, life is short. Take it from me. I know. Bye-bye.